there any problem with doing all of my workouts in erg mode? If so, what's a good rule of thumb to determine which workouts to do in erg and which to do in standard? Pete, do you want to take this one since you're kind of like the product guy with the app?
Yeah, let's do it. Short shorts are like the perfect example where it's really hard and really easy. Erg trainers work magically for this, and that's what they're built for. That's why they're there. Unfortunately, not all trainers are created equal. Different companies have different priorities and ideas on what works best. We try to do the best with what they give us. Sometimes we can do a lot. Sometimes we can't do as much as we wish we could. One of the things that helps is easier gearing, makes your trainer slightly more responsive. Ramp tests are also magical erg for most people. Running your ramp test in erg mode makes it really easy. You just kind of disconnect and push the pedals. But if you do all your training in resistance mode, do your ramp test in resistance mode. Always train and test the same way. And then lastly, in the desktop app, if you want to change modes really quickly, we have hotkeys. We have a lot of hotkeys, but in this case, T changes your trainer mode, so you can actually cycle through if you have a keyboard nearby or your laptop right there.
Alex, you just experienced.
Yes.
Sorry, Pete. Yeah. Alex, you're just experiencing this now, aren't you?
This is my my go-to now. I feel like anything that doesn't have a power recommendation is kind of how I'd blanket statement it. Like if you can't, like for me, 45-second seated accelerations is a huge example. We do a workout that's endurance pace, and then every 10 minutes you pick up the pace seated, and you're just trying to grind a big gear over, but there's no power to it. There's not like hit 700 watts or hit 500 watts. It's just you're going for the feeling of trying to accelerate that gear and keep shifting so you're never on top of it. So this T key for me has been clutch.
Yeah, and that's like workouts like Pettit +1 that will have those accelerations. I know that they still have a prescribed power for that sort of sprint, but if you read the workout text, Chad's saying just spin up as quickly as you can, stay seated, or he's giving you specific instructions. It's less about the power. And in most cases, we have that there. So then your trainer can ramp up resistance. So then you're pushing against a hard gear like that. So it feels like a sprint, but you can easily just switch it out like that and hit T. Just know that when you hit T, if you are like, for example, in a really easy gear or a really hard gear and you hit T, that might feel like a very big jarring switch from wherever you are at in that moment. So it's good to keep that in mind. I would say, like, to add to this just a little bit. So when you have intervals and the whole reason that people are asking this is when you have intervals that are really short and stacked closely together, it takes a while for the trainer to ramp up to resistance and then drop off. And it's funny, I'll point this out. We always get complaints on people saying that it doesn't drop me back down soon enough, but we hardly ever get complaints about people saying it takes too long to ramp me up to the target power. So just saying. But usually if it's 3 seconds late, it's also 3 seconds late on the other side. So interestingly, you kind of get the same work, but I totally understand it. It's frustrating if it feels decoupled. So that's a good opportunity for you to change those trainer modes and then to be able to do that. So,
and I forgot one of the most important pieces of this last rapid fire question because we were moving so fast. There's a new power match. There's a new power match we have that's much better. It's pretty much better across the board. We've run it. I guess it's been a few months now, but we're actually going to swap it over to be our standard power match because it is better. And it's taking a lot more, it's taking into a lot more things into account. And definitely people are getting much quicker responses with their trainers. And a lot of the things that people complain about with not moving quick enough is been solved. It's not perfect. It probably never will be, but it is much, much better. So keep an eye out for that. And it's on desktop right now and it's coming out in the new mobile app. So it's there if you want it.
This is hands down my favorite feature.
Like, yeah, Alex,
for people that don't know what this is, like, so you pair your trainer and you pair your power meter and it automatically picks up your power meter as a source of truth. And then erg modes your trainer to match your power meter. So you're racing, training inside, training outside, all on the same numbers.
It's amazing.
Just so we're clear, this is the best thing ever.
Yes. For Alex is a data junkie like the rest of us, so it's absolutely what he wants to have. And if I may be so bold, it's best in class in terms of that features.
Let's start with one thing: is getting a power meter. Like a lot of people are like, I need to be in erg mode. Erg mode is a luxury in some cases, but other cases, I like to not be in erg mode. John actually just uses rollers, so if you have a choice between a power meter that you can use indoors and outdoors, or an erg trainer inside, choose that power meter every time first. Like that's very important.
Completely agree.
I think we're all in agreement with that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really not that hard to. So at first, when you get a power meter, you'll be like, wow, the numbers are more bouncy than I thought. You'll get used to that. You'll add 5-second power smoothing, something like that. It'll start to stabilize, and you'll actually be able to hit your power targets with the same precision that you would without erg with time. Like it's for me, when I finish and I get my interval summary on TrainerRoad, they are no more correct or incorrect with whether I'm using erg or not. So you can still get in the same quality workout. Like you said, Nate, it can be a luxury at times, like especially if you're like doing a low intensity workout and watching something or getting caught up in the conversation with your friends during group workouts, something like that. It can be a luxury just to not have to worry about matching your power target, but you can still absolutely do it and get the same quality, get just as fast without erg.
So the next, so if you have that, and then I would recommend a fluid trainer, and two that we really like are the Kinetic Road machine or the Cyclops Jet Fluid Pro. And a lot of people, if they got like a smart trainer, those might be easy to get on like Craigslist for very inexpensive because they're just sitting in people's houses. So that's a good option. If you can't, if you can only afford one of those and you want to train inside, we also have virtual power. And for that, the best slope that we have would be the Kinetic Road machine. That thing's in the Jet Fluid Pro. Both of those are very, very stable. So if you don't have if you can't afford a power meter and you just want to get going with training inside, you can use virtual power, keep everything set up. You can't compare your numbers to other people, but you can have precision. So between workouts, it can be the same numbers, and you can train just like you had a power meter, but not outside for the cheapest. And for that, what you need is a speed sensor. And there's Garmin or other Bluetooth speed sensors, pretty cheap right now. That's all you need. Next stage up. Go ahead.
Just for all our talk, you might get the impression that we think everyone needs a wheel-off smart trainer, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Because for the longest time, I rode a road machine and then the rock and roll version of it. I absolutely loved that trainer. We've gravitated since then toward the smart trainers, but they are not by any means the only solution.
Yeah, for most of my career, I was on a Kinetic Road machine.
They feel so good. They still feel like the feel of them in terms of like when you're spinning, the inertia, everything else, they still feel better than many smart trainers. They may not have the control, but they feel better. So, yep.
And then for like inexpensive power meter, single side, Stages and 4-eyes are good options. 4-eyes just did a price lowering like yesterday. So they're like Stages and 4-eyes are going back and forth with lowering prices. So as a consumer, you're pretty stoked on that. And I believe even right now, 4-eyes is still doing factory install. So you can send them, they send you like a little shipping thing, and then you send in the crank, and then they install a power meter and you get it back. So that's pretty cool. And then
one thing on that really quick, Nate, I actually put that on my on my SB 150, my mountain bike. And one thing to know with this is that they can install it on drive or non-drive. And when you contact them about doing a factory install, they'll instruct you on finding out which one is better. In our minds, we think like we would never want it it's always on the non-drive is like what's in our minds, but it's no more difficult for them to install it on drive or non-drive. And depending on your application, it might be better. So for me, on my mountain bike, I couldn't fit it on the non-drive. And they have me check by basically taking a AAA battery and seeing if I could fit that AAA battery in between my frame and my crank arm. And if I couldn't, then I shouldn't put the power meter on that side. And I couldn't do it on the non-drive, but I could on the drive. So anyways, it's a really cool option too. Not only is it really accessible in terms of price, but it's cool because if you have like a tricky situation with trying to get a power meter on, that can be a flexible option.
And then for the high, like the smart trainer stuff, okay, I'll probably get flack from companies from saying this, but I'm just going to say it. Go for the high end. At this moment of this recording, there's trade-offs of getting a smart trainer that's mid-range. Like the high end is better, and I would either like save up for that or just go for the fluid trainer, the quote dumb trainer, then get a mid-range that you might not be happy with long term. I personally hate buying things twice. You ever buy like a tool and then you use it and then it doesn't work how you want it, then you buy another tool that's better later and you just end up buying it twice. That is like, to me, in my mind, I just can't stand that. So that is where I'm coming from. And for the high budget ones, Chad and I like the H3. Like, that is the trainer that I use all the time.
That one's popular around the office in general. That seems like right now it's one that people really
love
like.
that trainer.
I know, and I can't believe it's not more popular in the market because I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's got the huge flywheel, so it just feels like riding outside. There's the H2. And the difference between the two of those is the H3 is quieter. So
it's impressively quiet.
Yeah, but if you don't have an option or an issue with like quiet, if you can find an H2 right now, that is the deal. That's a very cheap deal. High-end kicker, good choice too. Neo, really like that one. And then Jonathan, you've been using the Elite Nero rollers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty darn good. They have. We're actually going to build some specific things for them, and it's something that people don't know. Nate probably is that we actually build in some cases specifically for specific smart trainers. Like, so we understand that, for example, like the Saurus H3, because every smart trainer, when you start an interval, for example, they tend to lag a little bit, right? And then it brings your power up. So we know that certain trainers take a little bit.
You're giving away our secrets.
No,
it's okay. I'm joking.
Okay, yeah.
I've said this before online.
Okay,
and John's
cool.
like, "Oh, we'll cut this out."
What am I supposed to do? But
I've never stopped you cold like that.
I know. Yeah, that's what. It was a shock. But the thing about that is that we've built specifically for specific trainers to give like a better experience. So I'm going to be working with our team to build specifically for the Neros. But I really like rollers a lot, and they sucked at first and everything was really hard and I felt like I couldn't hit my power targets. It was really tricky, and I just did them kind of on the side for fun for a bit, and then I got to the point where that cognitive load completely went away and I don't think of it anymore, except for when I almost fall off in the middle of the DC Rainmaker live stream, but I don't think of it anymore. And as a result, I find that like there's a lot of benefits to them, and we've talked about it before, but they've never had smart control. And I know a lot of people just want smart control in one regard, erg, basically. And these are the first ones that do it. And they do it really well. In my experience of riding this and then riding the Diretto, I think that might be the highest end elite trainer right now. Both of those, they perform almost exactly the same, which kind of makes sense because I'm sure that they use similar hardware, similar firmware. So I like them a lot. It is a high-end option, though. They're not cheap. I want to say they're like over $1,000. So they're it's not a cheap option, but if you're looking for something unique with erg, that's one. But these are suggestions that we would give, like you said, for anybody, whether it's your first time, honestly, or not, going through this, how to get the most out of the training that you're
Some
doing.
of these sound like the basics, but man, the basics like are the foundation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you don't do these, just everything becomes a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I mean, people get really excited about marginal gains, but
Yeah.
you can also make just really big gains
Yeah, exactly.
By doing the simple
by
things.
just doing the basics.
You wax your chain, but you're sleeping 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Great example.
Exactly.
You could probably improve your sleep. So
Yeah.
who wants
Right.
to take this?
I don't know.
We can all chime in.
Yeah. Nate, actually, do you want to start off on the first one?
Sleep at least 8 hours a night, maybe more. How much did you sleep when you were riding pro?
As much as possible.
Like was 8
8 to 10.
Yeah, 8 to 10
hours.
I hear
when
that a lot
could.
from pros is 8
Yeah.
to 10.
And napping. Napping is awesome if you have the time for it.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on prioritizing sleep above pretty much everything.
So we're keeping this little checklist focused on performance, right? And this will certainly help performance. But in terms of something that just helps your overall well-being, kind of stepping outside of this, the sleep thing is huge.
Yeah, and you're going to correct a lot of things afterward that aren't going to benefit or respond the same way they would if you would correct your sleep first, or at least improve your sleep habits.
Motivation and discipline increases with sleep.
Everything
Huge.
does.
When you have those 5 hour nights,
Everything improves, I should say.
and then there's that McDonald's breakfast, you're like, I just need it today, right? Or
Yeah.
something like that, or
It's-
something that's unhealthy. Where when you sleep, like even getting stuff done at work, which is very important here. So it's sleep.
Yeah,
That's pretty
100%.
much my point.
It's something really, side note on this really quick. When I went to go see Jade Ashari in Bend to work on my knee, I think he's at Rebound Physical Therapy. A lot of people ask where that is. That's where it is. He, but that's not sponsored, by the way. I paid a lot of money for that. So, very not free. Yeah, very not free. But that was actually one of the first questions he asked me. It was like, how much sleep do you regularly get? And like we were just trying to approach a knee issue, right? But just to further prove the point that it ties into all things.
Impacts recovery.
Oh, a ton.
Healing.
For sure.
Decision making.
On the nutrition side of things, man, that's like just a minefield of personal opinion out there. And also it's tough in terms, like there's a lot of scientific things, but a lot of perhaps kind of assumptions that have been stretched far based off of that. It's a minefield, but some safe principles that you can probably focus on. Semi-safe. Focus on whole foods. What do we mean by that, Nate?
Foods that aren't processed.
Yeah.
Or minimally processed. So if you cook if you roast your broccoli, like probably okay. Or you roast your potato, you can eat raw potatoes. But if your potatoes are like, I don't know, made into some kind of fried cracker that's with everything stripped out, or your rice is stripped of everything that's processed. So try to stay away from that.
Reduce deep fried foods. I think that's a fair thing that it'll help, right?
If anyone ever, I'm going to say this out there, free year subscription to TrainerRoad if you ever get a picture of Chad eating fried food. And you can send it to you.
Whoa, that's a big bounty.
Deep fried food.
Chad's going to have paparazzi.
Deep fried, yeah.
You can have
sauteed like scallops in a pan. That's not, I'm counting. I'm like French fries.
Deep fried. Popeyes.
Yep.
I want
everything at Popeyes. Yeah. Almost.
I want to live in a world where like Chad's trips to Whole Foods are being captured by paparazzi.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And then reducing sweets.
Yep. You don't need to eliminate them.
An easy one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Some dark chocolate. I think both of you two bros, are you a big dark chocolate fan?
I love
Amber?
chocolate.
Yeah, I don't even know. I would just say refined sugars,
Yeah.
less than sweets.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't rank dark chocolate in there,
Off the
especially if the
bike.
cacao's high.
Because
Yeah.
Sugar helps
Oh,
on the bike.
On the bike. This is a whole different conversation on the bike.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just in moderation, it's fine. I think some people
absolutely.
can
All
go
these things in moderation.
crazy. Even if it's high cacao, you can eat 4, 5, 6 bars a day because some of it's really good.
Yes. And then reducing alcohol, I think it's fair to say also that's not going to do you benefits.
Yeah, and we're trying to be realistic here because, I mean, normally we'd want to say eliminate fried foods, eliminate sweets, eliminate alcohol. But realistically, we're not asking you to aim quite that high.
Sure.
Right. You need to make sustainable changes. And,
Yep.
and going cold turkey on a lot of this stuff is just, it's too much to ask of anybody.
And if you are going to eliminate any of those things, make it an incremental process. It happens over time.
On our product management off seat, Amber said I could drink 2 bottles of wine. Was it 2 bottles of wine?
Yeah. It was definitely 2 bottles
How
of
much
wine.
was it?
In one sitting?
No, she said
She just wanted you to pass out.
she just said that
I talked to a nutritionist at one point and asked about alcohol. And apparently, according to this nutritionist, the research at the time said that up to 2 drinks up to 2 drinks in a day is not going to adversely affect your training. I know. Anecdotally,
I
don't advocate that
bottles come from?
specifically.
was just joking. Anecdotally, too, didn't you see some high professionals, you don't have to name names, but high-level pros having a drink a night?
World champions.
Yeah, world champions.
Yeah.
I think on this, it's probably not improving I know it's not improving your performance, but there is the idea of like, especially if it's before sleep, so it's not impacting your sleep, that relaxing a little bit like makes it easier then to reset and go hard later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys all, right?
Well, that, and
Fully
I
agree,
think
yeah.
I think also in some of these cases, going back to the idea of sustainability, the stress of avoiding something, or the the guilt and the self-loathing that comes with eating something that you think you shouldn't eat. It's the stress and the guilt that get you probably worse than whatever it was that you ate.
Right.
So
100%.
The raised cortisol. on
exactly.
that.
So just the relaxing isn't just a result of the alcohol, but also just being a little bit relaxed with the restrictions that you're placing on yourself.
And you have to be okay breaking that restriction, or else sometimes you break it and then you're stressed about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And that makes it
That
double
makes it
worse.
so
more
much
damaging
worse.
than the thing
Yeah.
that you took in.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just comforting to hear that some people at the highest level don't have to be these perfect
They're
people
not.
on nutrition and can still perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, it's true. We're all humans.